Now, if you want to avoid a charge of drug trafficking or successfully contest a charge, that is, plead not guilty and be found not guilty, these are the main bits of evidence that police rely on to prove your guilt. Therefore, these are the things that you'll need to avoid. The first thing that I see with my clients when they get caught and alleged of drug trafficking is the quantity of drugs. The quantity of drugs is always the thing that brings them down. Now, let's just say for argument's sake, there's a search warrant executed at your house and the police find 57 grams of methamphetamine at your house in one bag, and potentially there might be some little grammy bags lying around and some scales and some tick books. Well, circumstantially speaking, I mean, you weren't really caught in the act of dealing drugs, but it's very hard to say in a circumstance like that that was all for personal use. And I can tell you now that there's not a single magistrate out there that's going to believe it was personal use as well. If you are carrying large amounts of drugs, it will be very difficult to avoid a charge of trafficking because it is taken for granted that you are engaging in trafficking solely on the quantity itself. So therefore, carry small quantities. It's probably the best thing I can say. The second thing which brings my clients down, which is very difficult to contest, it's very difficult to even argue against, is text messages. My clients' phones are found either in a search warrant or maybe the PIN code is given during a police interview. Whatever way that the police choose to access the mobile phone, they get access to that mobile phone, they skim through it, they look at the conversations, they take their time, trust me, they do. And then they find conversations where people are speaking a certain lingo about the drugs that are being exchanged. You're not going to fool the police. Whether you call your drugs chozas or slogs or whatever the hell you want to refer them to, the police are going to know exactly what you're talking about, and the police are going to see that there are numbers there, no matter how discreet you're trying to keep them. And they're not going to pin you on drug trafficking solely on the basis of the text messages. But if you are found with a quantity of drugs and there's an allegation of drug trafficking and you have some cash on you and then maybe there were some deal bags, those text messages will certainly go towards a total circumstantial case. So, text messages, very difficult. What can we really say? If it's your number and you confirmed it was your number, or it was registered in your name and the police are going to find that out, then what are we really going to say those text messages are about? Are you into Dungeons and Dragons or something? This like this weird, quirky underground game that you play with one another, and you're just, yeah, honestly, you're going to have to give me a really good story about why it is that you're speaking to your friends in such a manner and who your friends are, and potentially if they want to come forward and make a statement to say something consistent with what you're giving me, which I can tell you now is just incredibly unlikely. None of my clients have ever done that before. So just be very careful with those text messages. The third way, and this is probably one of the most this is one of the most frustrating ways that my clients get caught, is that they spill their guts in a police interview. The police will then, they'll execute a search warrant and they find drugs. Immediately, if they find drugs at your house, keep your mouth shut. No matter how you try to explain the drugs, it's always going to look bad. It's always going to look bad on you. So the last thing that you should do is sit there and tell the police about you having drugs, you possessing them, how you were possessing them, for what purpose, the fact that you were selling them and who you were selling them to and at what point and how much money you were making. And the more information you give them, the more you bury yourself, really. Because at the end of the day, let's just say that the police evidence gets excluded, drugs are removed from the evidence, for instance, maybe the search warrant wasn't executed properly. You just sat there and you gave sworn evidence to the police about your methods and to what extent that you deal drugs. We don't need that. I don't need that, and I really can't work with you with that. So ultimately, if you do make admissions in a police interview, those admissions are likely going to bring you down no matter what they are. So again, as you've seen, there's a constant theme in most of my advice videos. Just make a no comment statement, in particular when drugs are found on you. There's no explanation that could possibly do you any favors.